Okay, no, stop right there. I get way too many weird things popping up on these videos because of that name, okay? I mean, that's funny when the main thing I'm doing is Plastic Addict, but now it just confuses new people. So, here, take it down. Give me something new, some other name. Oh, come on, everyone uses that. Can I at least get some classy opening? Nice.
For those wondering why I haven't been reviewing Transformers lately, it's because I've been waiting on things like this to fall into my lap, and thankfully it finally did. This is Generations Thrust. I have so been looking forward to this toy, and if you followed the TFW 2005 podcast like you should be, you would know that I have been anticipating this toy since the pictures first leaked. To get into little specifics here, you can see the whole thing is molded in a metallic red or burgundy color scheme. It's very well done. It's a little bit metallic actually, which kind of caught me off guard. Now you can see a little bit of swirling in the plastic, kind of like gold plastic, but it's not nearly enough to cause any problems with the toy down the line. There's nothing to worry about here. It looks gorgeous though. It really gives it a very nice metallic shine. You can also see that the gray used for the wings also has a little bit of a brown hue to it under the light. I didn't notice it until I actually turned the lights on for this review. It fits well enough. I mean, there's nothing really distracting about it. It's just a slightly off gray shade. Hasbro loves to do that. You can also see a lot of the deco on here, very reminiscent of the G1 toy, especially up here with the tail wings. Everything about this toy is just so spot on to the G1 figure and cartoon model. This is what I really noticed. The metallic cockpit. They actually left it chrome like the Gentei version. That's really random. But in a weird way, it really sets the cockpit apart. It really gives it an interesting shine, like there is something going on inside there. And it's a really nice effect, actually. It kind of makes me wish they'd do it more often. Overall, it's a great job they've done on this, and you can tell if I were to do something like this and compare it to the original G1 toy, you can see, although there are a few differences, they got it pretty spot on. I mean, this is a really, really nice recreation of the original toy, and it's a little bit better, actually. And we'll get to that, well, right now. There's a few changes from the Gentei version. The main one, you can see the wings. Now these details are on the bottom side of the wing on the Gentei version, and I'll go ahead and mistransform this just a little bit so you can see that's what the wings looked like on the original release. Smooth, flat. And there you have a little bit of different molding detailing on this. You know what? I don't care. They're all like this in the US version. It's not a factory screw-up where they accidentally flip the wings on mine. I think it's almost intentional that they put that detailing on the top. And you know what? I like it. I like it better than the flat wings. I mean, if you got nice molded detailing like that, use it. Show it off. It makes them look a little different. That is great. The detail that absolutely has to be brought up, of course, is these, the VTOLs. These are the major sticking point. The Botcon version had them a little bit more G1 accurate, where they were embedded in the wing, and here you can tell they're just pegged in on top. It creates a little bit of a floating effect and doesn't quite look right, but there are other things you can do. For instance, they are, of course, removable. You can twist them off very simply and have a much more clean-looking jet. Oh, well, or you can add these over to the bottom of the tail fins. This is how it comes packaged, and in the Gentei version, this is the official release, so it doesn't look too much like the Botcon one. It gives you a little bit more of a solid look, though you cannot see the fans anymore. And this is one aspect about the toy that I really think makes this probably the best version of the Classics Seeker mold, because you have these things to allow variety. You want them here on the bottom of the wing. If you like that, fine, we can do that. You have options. you have little things and little tricks you can do. Hell, we can put the guns on top if you just want this thing to look like it's going to kill just about everything floating in the sky, flying on the ground, anything. It's completely unaerodynamic like this, but the fact is you can do it. You can have this whatever way you want, and that makes it fun. That makes it a little bit more interesting than your normal Seeker that just has things as they are, you know, plain Jane kind of thing. And certainly the options are nice, because when you get to this level of ridiculousness with releases, yeah, the number one thing you need is variety. You've got to have a little bit of change between all of these things if you're actually going to make it worth buying again. Let me clean this up and we'll get to robot mode. In robot mode, Thrust looks absolutely awesome, and there are a lot of things to talk about here. First off, you can tell that burgundy color scheme is carried over very well, and with the wings folded back, they're actually a lot more prominent here. You can see a ton more. The legs opened up to expose it. We have more here on the arms, and of course on the head. You can also see a lot of little gold detailing that has been added in. It's a very muted shade of gold that's been added here. It doesn't really get in the way of the color scheme. It doesn't break up the burgundy too much. It goes in very well with his dark color scheme without breaking it up too much. You can also see the face has been very well sculpted, and in a strange decision by Hasbro, they've actually gone cartoon accurate when they usually go toy accurate and painted the face white. And for those who have never really seen this mold, seriously, are you a Transformer fan if you don't own this by now? You can see the engineering on this is fantastic. Everything folds in on itself and folds out for robot mode. There is no backpack whatsoever. Nothing is kibble here. And even the wings, well, that's just G1 accurate. You have to have that. It is an incredibly well-engineered toy, and it really is worth how many times they've released it so far. Articulation-wise, you've got the hips here that can actually go out pretty far considering the positioning of them. You've got swivels at the knees, and of course the knees also bend 90 degrees. You've also got the shoulders here, which the wings will restrict it. You might have to take off the missile launchers if you want full posability. You've also got the elbows as well. See, without it, a little bit more room. But, you know, it just doesn't look right. And the head also rotates a little bit. The cockpit pieces in the back hinder the head articulation just a little bit, but it's not too bad. And for those worried about joint issues like the Japanese releases of the Seekers had, do not worry. The joints on here are very nice. Not too tight, not too loose. And I played with one at Botcon too, so I can confirm I didn't just get lucky. These are well made. Do not worry about anything going loose on you. It is an incredibly well done toy, as I've said, and there are a few little details I really like on this. You can also see the cockpit and that metallic paint job underneath really coming through here, almost like a living spark chamber on him. Also, my favorite paint detail on these, the sides, these little panels on here. For anyone who owns an early Class 6 Seeker mold, you know they don't paint those in on usually. So it's nice when they do because it solidifies the chest so much. There's one little gripe as far as accuracy goes, and that is, of course, the wings. Now, you can put these holes down here, and that kind of does the trick. That kind of works. But we know, on the classic toy and in the cartoon, they're much higher up. They're somewhere closer to his hips. You can see a nice comparison here. Good size on these, by the way. Match up the originals quite well. But yeah, you can see the wings are much lower or much higher, depending on where you put those VTOLs. Oh, I prefer them down there because, well, that just fits in much better with these guys. And when Dirge comes out, again, they'll be lower on the legs. And so, yeah, you might as well have them all matching. Again, it's a variety thing. I like them there. You might like them up here on the wings. It's unfortunate because I think they could have engineered a way to put those a little bit more of a normal spot. But, you know, it's a small gripe. I mean, that is nothing that should take away from this toy. It is well done, well engineered, and the quality control issues have all been ironed out very nicely. Though I will give you one word of warning. When playing with this toy, you might notice little specks of this burgundy color flaking off. Do not panic. You find a few chips of paint on your fingertips, blame these things. They are molded gray, so all this burgundy is painted on, including the peg that holds it on there. You can see on mine, there is some chippage. That is just naturally worn off. There's no way of avoiding that since they painted the peg on this thing. That also means they're going to be very tight when you first put them on. So, number one thing, do not panic when you start seeing little flakes of red on your fingers playing with this toy. In fact, it's probably a good thing. The joints will probably be a lot better with a little less of that paint tightening them up too much. But that is a minor nitpick. As I said, this is a fantastic toy, well worth my anticipation for it. It has me very eagerly anticipating Dirge. Despite having all these other versions of the toy, I still really feel like it is such a solid figure, so well engineered, so well done. I am very much looking forward to completing the set with a Thundercracker, with a Dirge, maybe even with a Sunstorm. Who knows? It's Pokemon. You have to catch them all. So thank you for watching. Please, if you can find this guy, go buy him. The more that sells, the more likely we'll get more.